Hey everyone, it is Nick with Good Health Saunas. Welcome back for another episode of Sweating the Detail. And tonight is going to be a really fun one because it's the Wisconsin State Fair that starts up this Thursday. Good Health Saunas is proudly one of the main sponsors again this year. And if you're local in Wisconsin, this is one of the best chances of the year to come see all the Good Health Saunas models on display. We'll have our signature series, we'll have our hybrid series, and you can compare layouts, see heater placement, and actually feel the differences, and instead of trying to figure out everything online. So we'll be located in two spots. One of them is going to be inside in the expo hall. The other one is going to be outside in the Master Spa's booth, right across from the Ferris wheel. So if you're walking around the fair, eating a cream puff, checking out some vendors, or heading toward the Ferris wheel, make sure you come find us, say hi. And one more thing is, because last year, if you guys remember, the final day got rained out. So this year, if you missed us on that last day, we're gonna be taking and giving you guys the best chance with the fair savings. So make sure you ask about the Wisconsin State Fair savings this year. And again, tonight's episode is all about State Fair week. So we're gonna get into why seeing the sauna in person matters, especially how to compare our signature and our hybrid series, and really just why so many people get overwhelmed when they're online searching. So this is also a great time to jump into why this is a really good time to get a sauna when you are thinking about that winter routine. So if you are watching, drop in the comments if you're planning to stop out to the Wisconsin State Fair this week. If you are, let me know if you're planning to stop in and say hi in the expo hall, if you're gonna stop out at the Master Spa's booth outside. So we got a couple people in the chat. Brandon is there, Taylor and Linda as well. Welcome guys. We are doing a 1-hour live session. So Sweating the Details is always about going through tips, tricks, how to get the most out of your infrared sauna, and kind of how to just buzz through, or how to get through the buzzwords you can see online. So as always, we're gonna start the unit out at room temperature. We're gonna get it heated up to about body temperature. We're gonna jump in, do a full session, answer any questions you guys have live. So we are gonna turn the unit on here, let it heat up for about 15 minutes, and then jump in around that core body temperature. So being that it's around room temperature, starting out around 75 degrees with the sauna currently, gonna get it up to around 100 and 110 degrees, that core body temperature. And so really with the tips and tricks about using the sauna, that's something that we really like to specialize in. But before you even get there, one of the biggest things we talked about on this live is just information overload. So online, every sauna can look good. Every company can say low EMF. Every company says they're high quality. Every company has the lights, the speakers, and the list goes on. But one of the big things we always talk about is having 360-degree heat. So having a full spectrum infrared sauna and having the heating elements wrap around your entire body, we got something that we're gonna try out and just see how it looks tonight before we do a full imaging on it. So the unit is off. I just turned the unit on. So you're gonna see just the amount of heaters. Let me get the iPad up there. Just the 360-degree coverage with the amount of heaters. And so that's those big wraparound heaters. If we go down, you'll see the floor heat, that calf heater as well. So when we truly are talking about 360-degree heat, guys, this is what we mean. There's heaters ceiling to floor, wall to wall. There's not a spot in the sauna you can sit. You're not getting hit with that infrared heat. So this is just, again, one of the cool tools we wanted to show you guys how we've came up with the hybrid series, making sure it is the most efficient, the most effective heating system out there. So before we get jumped into the unit, we got to close the door, make sure it gets heated up. And that was, again, just one of the big things that we always get asked about. So when you are stopping by at the fair, you can really just stop guessing. You can see in the sauna, we'll have them heated up for you so you can feel that 360-degree heat. You can feel how solid the solid lumber construction is. And then you can compare 2-3 person sizing, see if a signature series or a hybrid series would be the best for you. And we can actually show you some things that we can't on the website. So if you're at the fair, make sure you stop by. And then if you are shopping for a sauna right now, what would be the most confusing part for you? Is it price? Is it size? Is it what infrared heat means? EMF, red light therapy? Or do you even know which company to start looking at? Drop it down in the chat if you are watching, and Robert has just joined us as well. So we got the unit heating up. Again, it started around 75 beats or 75 degrees. We're getting it up to around 100, 110 degrees, so close to that core body temperature. That's when we're gonna hop in the unit, heat up with it, and get the full infrared session. So compared to just like a traditional sauna or a steam room where a lot of people are using those at the gym, wellness center, that has one hot rock furnace in it. That's gonna heat that ambient air temperature. Now that ambient air temperature is really abrasive on the body. You're still sweating, so you're still getting a ton of benefits, but when you're in there 15, maybe trying to push it to 20 minutes, that's when it's almost a suffocating type feeling. It can dry out the eyes, the nose, the ears, the mouth, damages hair. So having that high traditional heat, there's still benefits to sweating, but if you're looking for all of those benefits and a lot more, that's why a full spectrum infrared sauna has become so popular. And you are gonna sweat as much, if not more, in an infrared sauna. You get a better passive cardiovascular workout. And so for me, you can see getting up into the 140s, 150s is something that's really hard to get my body to do without putting so much wear and tear on it. So getting started, obviously wanted to tell you a little story about last year's fair and relating to obviously shopping online. There's so many people that walk by every year and they see our saunas, they maybe see us at other events, and they may not stop by and actually talk to us. But last year we had a customer who had been looking at the saunas for a long time. And like I said, he'd walked by the booth before, he knew he was interested, but he never made a decision because there were just too many options. And that's something that I think a lot of people can relate to. So when you do start researching because you want to reduce stress, you want to recover better, sleep better, improve your overall health, and then the search becomes stressful, you have 30 tabs open, every company says one thing, every company says they're the best, and another company talks about low EMF. That's when that customer finally came into the booth. We talked through the industry, heater placement, materials, what size actually matters to them. And then they ended up choosing a 2-person model. It fit his space perfectly, still gave him enough room to move around and enjoy. And then he could also go in it with his wife if he wanted to. So that is the true goal. It's not to figure out which sauna is going to be the biggest one that your space can be capable of. It's not to get you the most expensive one out there. The goal is to help people make an educated, right decision for their needs. So that's where the best sauna is not the one with the best marketing. It's the one you're going to use consistently. So being that the unit's around 100 degrees right now, it's 103, going up slightly here, but we're going to be jumping in. So we're going to meet you guys in there. Give us one quick second. Peace. And welcome in, guys. We are going to get our watch workout started here. So as always, we like to track things like calorie burn, heart rate, and track it throughout the session so you can see the gradual increase. It's not like that traditional sauna at the gym where you open up the door, you immediately get hit with that hot air. It, like I said, takes your breath away. It's pretty difficult to breathe in there. You can actually come in here, heat up with the unit, It's a lot less abrasive on the body. And Paul just joined us. Welcome. We are starting our 1 hour infrared sauna session. This is the Good Health Sauna's Corner Hybrid series. And so tonight's episode is going to be a state fair special. We were already talking about a lot of the benefits with getting to stop out to the state fair. You can compare 2-person, 3-person sizing, see heater placement, and actually figure out which one's going to work best for you. So like I said, for our Wisconsin State Fair customers, this is the best time to move forward with your research. And if you're local, like I said, we'll be there. The units will be there. Our entire team is going to be there for you to be able to ask some questions face to face. So, and because like I said, last year's final day got rained out, we're making sure people who missed the opportunity know about the extra state fair savings we have this year. And again, there's really no blanket pricing because it kind of depends on size, series, inventory, delivery location, and other variables. But if you're local, if you've been thinking about a sauna, like I said, this is absolutely one of the best weeks to come out, say hi if you're available, and we will have, like I said, our signature and our hybrid series on display. So if you're coming to the fair, what would be the first thing you want to compare? Is it a signature series? Is it the hybrid series? Are you looking at a 2-person, a 3-person, maybe a corner unit? Let me know in the chat if you guys are planning to stop out. And if you're not in the Wisconsin area, we're going to be at plenty of other events coming up and probably one close by you. So check out our website, see where we're going to be at. But like I said, with the Wisconsin State Fair coming up, this is going to be a State Fair special episode. And with that means, for me, always growing up, I know when State Fair rolled around, I would go out with the entire family, and it was always one of the best times of summer. But that always meant school starting, and it's really a turning point where you can still obviously go out, you can have the cream puffs, you can go on the rides, the concerts, enjoy the Ferris wheel, and obviously all the fun family memories. But after that, it's going back to school shopping, fall sports, packed schedules, early nights, colder mornings, and eventually the winter blues. And especially up here in Wisconsin, we never know when the winter is going to start and how bad it's going to be when it does. So that's why I always say don't wait until winter hits to build your health routine, especially in those cold winter months. For me, I know it's a lot harder to get that passive cardiovascular workout. If you wait, and like I said, you're already stiff, you're tired, you're stressed, you're stuck inside, now you're trying to play behind, and you're playing from behind the 8 ball, when if you can build it into your schedule now, so it's already a part of your life when winter gets here. And for me, that's why every Tuesday has become, one of the best ways to build it into my schedule. I know I'm going to be able to get a full infrared sauna session. I know I can reset my body in a nice, clean way for this midweek, and especially with the State Fair starting up, I was really looking forward to just relaxing in the sauna tonight. So that's obviously one of the big benefits to coming on here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you guys are just joining us, we are going in for the 1 hour live session. I forgot to put the towels on the bench and on the floor before I got in, so we are just doing that now. And that's another question that we get asked a lot, is how do I keep the sauna clean? And if you've been following along, you've noticed we've been going live every Tuesday for quite some time now, and we typically are using the same sauna, and you really don't notice any wear and tear. And the simplest, quickest, easiest solution is just nice plush towels on the bench, put some towels on the floor, and then just take those damp towels out when you're done. So obviously I got one on the bench, we are putting one on the other bench, and then with that floor heater, I actually wait a couple minutes and just have my feet directly on that heater. And then once I start to get a good sweat going, that's typically when I kick the towel out, covering about 3/4 of it, just to help absorb any of the sweat coming off my calves, heels, chin, elbows, and anywhere else. So like I said, being that this is going to be a State Fair episode, one of my favorite parts about going to the State Fair, and we were talking about it today, is getting the opportunity to talk to you guys and so many different people. And that means at every stage of life too. So even if you're in your 30s and maybe you're not working hard, or maybe you're working super hard, raising kids, you're training, you're playing sports, going to the gym, traveling, and you're starting to realize, like I do, recovery doesn't just happen automatically anymore. Or maybe if you're in your 40s or 50s, it's stress, sleep, back tightness, workouts, golf, pickleball, inflammation, or just wanting to feel better waking up in the morning. Or maybe if you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, it's more about circulation, mobility, stiffness, warming up the body, staying active, or just being able to play with the grandkids. So different ages, different goals, same basic need. Recovery, circulation, relaxation, and consistency is the key, a tool that fits it into real life. And that's why we meet so many customers at the fair who already have one of our saunas. They tell us it's one of the most important parts of their health routine. So being that I didn't show you guys our starting heart rate, we will let you know that it's about 100 beats per minute right now. The unit is about 120 degrees, and we are going to be slowly getting that up into the 140s, 150s. So that's a big thing for me using it for my golf. I've noticed, like I said, I'm not recovering as quickly. It's not happening automatically like it used to. So every Tuesday is a nice way to reset, especially with all the traveling coming up. I know a nice way that I can always get my body back to that most natural state, and that's using a full session in an infrared sauna. And that's something where, if you guys are watching, what would you use the sauna most for? Is it recovery, sleep, maybe stress, circulation, detox, or just quiet time? That's always one of the best ways to use it too. So you do have Bluetooth speakers in here. And as always, we have to stay super hydrated. So being that we have the Good Health Saunas, a wall of water bottles, and the state fair is coming up, if you are interested in a sauna, we do have a QR code that you can download for the buyer's guide, and just 5 questions to ask any infrared sauna brand. So if you want to do a little looking beforehand, or if you just want to wait till you get us and ask us, or get there and ask us yourself, we are more than happy to. But that buyer's guide is a nice resource to have, and just a great starting point if you are searching for an infrared sauna. So we are, again, only about 10 minutes in, but getting the heart rate up into the hundreds is a nice, easy transition compared to that high abrasive heat. And so when you are at the fair and you get a chance to sit inside, one of the big things I want you all to look at, like I said, is that 360-degree heat. So look at where the heaters are placed. Pay attention to the space. A lot of people start by wanting the smallest option possible, but then once they sit inside, they realize comfort matters. If it feels cramped, you're really not going to use it consistently. And then always take a look at the Signature series. That's really that true infrared focused experience, where that hybrid series is for people who like a hotter, more traditional style sauna, but still keeping infrared as the main focus. And so always ask about the fundamentals, obviously, materials, the EMF reports, VOC reports, ask about the warranty, delivery, install, if service, if that comes with it or not. And another thing you can always do is check out our website, and you can see pictures, but Wisconsin State Fair always lets you feel the difference. So make sure you stop out if you are in the Wisconsin area. And like I said, we have so many other events coming up where if you are in one of the states, check out all the models that we'll have on display, or you can always give us a call and we will more than happily give you a virtual tour as well. So that's one thing. If you're interested in a Wisconsin State, or if you're interested in coming to the state fair, you can schedule a one-on-one with me. And if you're serious about coming down and just looking at the saunas, I can help you get some free state fair tickets. So that way you can come look at the booth. We're not starting from scratch. I'll already know what you're looking for, what your space is capable of, and whether you're leaning signature or hybrid. So again, there's no pressure. The whole point is to help you come to the fair with clarity instead of walking around overwhelmed. So make sure you guys scan this QR code, schedule that one-on-one with me. If you have any questions, or if you have a space that you're working with, you can always send that over as well. But that is something that I always encourage everyone to do if they do get the opportunity. So If you guys are watching right now, would you rather have a smaller sauna that saves space or a slightly bigger one that you really enjoy using? So if you do already have a Good Health Saunas and you're using it out there, drop what model you have in the comments and how often you're using it. We got Christine in the chat. Welcome. We are only about 10 minutes in to the 1 hour session. This again is the Corner Hybrid series. So we went through a lot of things to consider at the state fair, and Mr. Clark has joined us as well. Welcome. We're only 10 minutes into the 1 hour infrared sauna session. So if you're just joining, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, we go live in an infrared sauna, show you guys tips, tricks, how to get the most out of an infrared sauna, and then obviously answer any questions live. So this is something that we've been doing for quite a while now, and being that we've been doing the state fairs and one of the main sponsors, the Wisconsin State Fair, starting on Thursday, there's so many people that we get the opportunity to talk to that have really never experienced an infrared sauna. They may have used a traditional sauna once or twice at the gym, but then when they actually get to use or feel an infrared sauna, and I'm talking about just sitting in it for the first 5, 10, 15 seconds, if you've ever opened that door to a traditional sauna or a steam room and immediately felt that hot air and walked right out, an infrared sauna is a lot different and something that you should really consider. But if you're looking for that high heat, that hybrid series, as you guys know, if you've watched before, definitely gets that cardiovascular rate elevated. So for me, up into the 140s, 150s, that's typically really difficult to obtain anywhere outside of like a pretty high intense sport. So I'm talking like basketball, full up and down. I mean, like doing a sprint, like not even a jog or a marathon, but maybe like a super long bike ride or a really intense swim would typically get the heart rate up into the 140s, maybe even to the 150s. Now, when I get done with those activities, like I was talking about, I'm not noticing that automatic recovery like I used to. So having the ability to hop in the sauna, get the infrared heat down to that cellular level, I can notice just improved circulation. And so when you can get more oxygenated blood to all the parts of your body, that's when you're going to notice muscle relaxation, the muscle recovery. I was moving, so having just that stress of having to relocate all your stuff, knowing that I can use the sauna to relax, I'm going to sleep a lot better tonight, I'm going to fall asleep a lot quicker. Those are some of the key benefits onto why I use the sauna. And so if you're not planning to stop to the Wisconsin State Fair, that's okay, because we have, like I said, so many other ones coming up that we are super excited for. I know after the Wisconsin State Fair, we're going up to the UP State Fair. For me, we are going to the Minnesota State Fair. And then after that, probably out to the Big E in Massachusetts. So if you guys are at any of those events, I know we have so many people that are planning to stop out already, and we are excited to chat. But if you're not at one of those events, you can always give us a call online, ask about the State Fair savings, and we can see where you're located and what we can do for you. So being that we are only about 15 minutes in, heart rate is now, it was 117, and to jump up to the 120s ever so slightly, but you'll see here it's been a gradual increase. And if I only had 20-30 minutes and I still wanted to get a good sweat, I would let the unit heat up for a little bit longer, jump in at maybe 110 degrees, and I would be dripping sweat in that 15, 20, 30 minutes. Now, I like to do a little bit longer session, and that's how you're going to see the most benefits. I notice if I only use it for 20, 30 minutes, I come out and I'm almost craving going back in. If I sit in here for a full 45, 55 hour long session, when I get out, it's that euphoric feeling. It's a runner's high. And that's just all the endorphins, the serotonins, the dopamine that's getting produced when your body has to sweat. And so with having that hybrid series go up to those higher temperatures, that is something where if you're used to that traditional sauna, you're gonna get that same traditional style heat feeling without having to worry about your hair burning or your eyes or your nose. So for me, I notice I can stay in it a lot longer. It's a lot less abrasive on my body, but there's tons of other long-term health benefits as part of like detoxing. So for me, the traditional sauna, again, I'm only sitting in it for 15, maybe 20 minutes if I'm really pushing it, where I'm almost doubling that time in an infrared sauna. Having the ability to raise that core temperature compared to just the superficial temperature is why you're going to see a lot more of those internal benefits. Like I said, detox, pushing out the heavy metals, the toxins, the carcinogens. And the whole point when you're going to the fair is enjoy the corn dogs, enjoy the cream puffs at the Wisconsin State Fair, but have the ability to reset and make sure those toxins and those 15,000 steps aren't going to impact you later on in the week. So we were, like I said, having a customer last week at the Washington County Fair where he came in the morning with his grandkids. They were having a blast and ended up looking at one of our saunas. They were thinking about it and ended up coming back at the end of the day. They didn't have the grandkids, and I asked them how their day went. They said it was an absolute blast. One of the main reasons they're getting the sauna is so they can go do that again next year with their grandkids. And it's like I said, there's so many people that wait to have wait for their body to force the conversation. And it's the same thing in that winter and scheduling that winter routine. For me, State Fair always meant schools, late or earlier nights, packed schedules, and just less time to prioritize health and wellness, being that it's a lot harder to get that workout in. Nobody wants to go outside when it's 0 or 30 degrees. So having the ability to relax, detox, get those cardiovascular benefits in the comfort of your own home is really why you're seeing so many people take advantage of the State Fair sale. So that's, again, the main premise of tonight's episode. We've had a fun run with season 1 so far. We got Gary has joined and Mr. Clark as well. So welcome, guys. We're only about 20 minutes into the session, and we were going through the State Fair coming up here with Wisconsin State Fair starting on Thursday. If you guys are watching, let me know where you're watching from. I'm always curious where our viewers are tuning in from. If you're planning to stop out to one of our events, or if you've just been curious about an infrared sauna, what are some of the questions that you would like to ask at the fair if you don't get the chance to go, or what are some of the questions you're planning to ask? We have so many people that, like I said, had seen us at events before. They may have walked by and now they're realizing a sauna is something that they may want to look more into, or they realize they should have looked into it a while ago, but then they get hit with that information overload. And there are so many people that get in that analysis paralysis state where it's hard to decipher what separates low quality and what makes a high quality unit. The whole reason we go and do these lives is to show you guys, like I said, 360-degree heat, not to get you the largest unit for your space, not to get you the biggest unit or the unit that has the most bells and whistles per se. It's to figure out which unit you're going to use the most, because that's going to be the most beneficial unit for you. And that's where I think the industry and just kind of the world has turned a little bit more into marketing and advertising. And so, especially with AI nowadays, there's tons of great advertisers out there and marketers where so many people get boxed into what decisions they think they should make, and they don't even realize that's just from a marketing team cornering them from all facets, whether that's socials or like actual physical billboards, mailers, what have you. When you are looking, and especially in the infrared sauna industry, so many people get caught up with the buzzwords like EMF and red light and the full spectrum, when they actually get a chance to talk to us, break it down in plain English as far as what infrared is, what they really should be looking for, and what to avoid. That's where so many companies say we have the best, we're doing this, but nobody else will come out there and say, well, you should really just have this, and there shouldn't be a reason that you shouldn't go with that. That didn't really make sense, but in my head it made a lot more. So the main premise I was trying to get across was, don't just trust the advertisers and marketers. Like I said, they're really good at their jobs, and you can't always believe what you see online. And I was watching a clip from one of our podcasts. If you guys haven't checked that out, definitely worth the watch. And it's the Sweat Fanatic podcast. So we had an episode on there, and I really liked the clip from it where Jordan said what happened when he was going to school, and even myself, where teachers said you couldn't use Wikipedia. Now everyone looks and sees online and thinks that's the ultimate truth. And back when the internet was first coming out, nobody trusted anything on it. But now the script has kind of flipped, where everything on the internet is the all truth, but figuring out which one is the actual truth is the hardest part. So cutting through the noise, and if you guys happen to stumble upon these lives and watch them all, you'll see there's so many little idiosyncrasies that can happen with marketing advertisers that can, especially in the infrared sauna industry, twist the perspective on something. That's where we come out here and, like I said, go to the state fairs. Oh, we got Associated Third watching from the Chicago suburbs. Welcome. I didn't see that till now, but there's so many marketers and advertisers that are great at their jobs, and that's where you have to really do your due diligence as a consumer nowadays. And unfortunately, everyone has had a bad experience shopping online. I know when I ordered a jacket probably 6+ years ago now, the picture looked great. It had all the advertising and marketing to back it up, and like I said, it looked good on the website. But then when it actually showed up, the zipper was on the wrong side. It didn't zip, and the sleeves were about 2 inches too short. So having the ability to touch, see, and feel it is really one of the main reasons I always buy my clothes in person. But if I am going to go online, I always make sure that it's from a reputable company. So it's not just one website or one click that is going to find you the best option typically. Nowadays, you do got to do a little bit of research and figure out what's going to work best for you. And if you guys are already looking, what would be one of your biggest overwhelming kind of variables that you're considering? Like I said, is it really price? Is it the size? Is it health benefits? Are you curious about EMF or red light? Or are you just comparing brands? But those are always really good starting points if you are just curious about an infrared sauna. I know there's tons of great information on our website or our social medias, so make sure to like, follow, subscribe. That always helps out us a lot, and make sure that we are getting you guys the best content. We have some fun stuff coming up with all the state fairs, so stay tuned for that as always. We've only been in for about 25 minutes, and the heart rate, it was up into the 130s. So now it's about 128 here. So being that we're about halfway through the session, that is typically where we like to see the heart rate and getting that gradual increase. It's not spiking it. So anyone with like high blood pressure, low blood pressure, it helps regulate your system. It's vasodilating the blood vessels, so that's getting more oxygenated blood to flow throughout your entire body. It's not, your heart isn't having to work as hard. It's like running blood in fire hoses compared to garden hoses. So Luke, welcome. We got Nick in the chat as well. Welcome, guys. We're about 25 minutes in to our 1 hour session. And again, this is the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid series. Being that we've gone through a ton of great details about tonight, and I know there's a lot of fun content that we have coming up, but one of the main things that this episode was on was the state fair that's coming up, what to look for, and not to avoid the fun, not go on the Ferris wheel. It's to how to reset your body. And like I said, for me, I was moving. I just ended up relocating closer, and having to move all that stuff can get pretty overwhelming, can get stressful. But I knew on Tuesday I was coming to do the live, and that was something that I was looking forward to. So that's where it's building it into your schedule. And especially with the winter months coming up here, I know back to school shopping started. So for parents that are running around with fall activities, earlier nights, having something in the comfort of your own home that you guys saw heats up super quick. I can jump in it. Would have been 36 minutes from 7 o'clock till now, and I'm already getting my heart rate up into the 130s, 140s. So having the ability to have that comfort and that wellness tool in your own home is really why you see thousands of our customers rave about us online. And you'll see, if you have a chance to stop out at the state fair and you just hang out in our booth for an hour or two, you'd probably have 5 or 6 people that come up to us and say, it's one of the best investments I made. I use it almost every single day. I wish I did it sooner. So, like I said, don't wait for your body to force the conversation. Make sure you're building it into that routine, so when winter comes, you're not scrambling from behind and trying to get your back not as stiff, trying to sleep better, trying to not be as stressed. So those are all the main premises of tonight. Sean, welcome. Tone, welcome. We got to make sure we are staying super, super hydrated with all the state fairs coming up. I know travel, and that means for me, different time zones, flying, packing, unpacking, a lot of public airports and transportation where that may not be the most sanitary at times, but I know one of the first things I do when I get home is always going to be to sauna. And that's just because of how good I'm going to sleep at night, how relaxed my muscles feel. Chromotherapy lighting is always nice to just relax, de-stress from the end of the night, and I can always just feel the tension melting out of my body. So, being that we've been in for about 20 minutes, and speaking of the chromotherapy lighting, it's time to change that up. As always, we're going to turn it on through the cycle mode. As you can see, sweat a little bit better than in the red, but each color has different benefits. I kind of like having the cycle mode on at night. Keeps me entertained and making sure I'm paying attention to the chat and not missing anything. So welcome, Diggs and Mag. We're at about 150 in the sauna right now. Heart rate's at, again, about 135, 140. Calorie burn at this point is 243. So if you're looking for that calorie burn, like I said, one of the simplest things I did was just build an infrared sauna session into my routine. If you see the title here, that's where I don't necessarily use any supplements. I don't really necessarily going to the gym 4, 5, 7 times a week, but I know it's really beneficial for my body. So going to the gym, using the sauna, eating healthy, those are the only things that I did to obtain, I feel like, the healthy lifestyle. I can sleep a lot better. I don't have that mental fog, especially in those winter months where if you're not getting that passive cardiovascular workout, if you're not sweating, you're getting a toxin overload on the body. So opening up those detox pathways and just stimulating blood flow throughout your entire body is how you're going to notice a lot less aches and pains, a lot less inflammation. Like I said, for me, there's long-term benefits with reducing risk for Alzheimer's, dementia, all-cause risk of mortality like heart disease. So using the sauna, again, is one of the best investments you can make in your health. And everyone always asks if an infrared sauna gets hot or how hot does it get. And I was over filming one of our 30-day challenge episodes today, and we were going over how our hybrid series is as hot, if not going to make you sweat more than a traditional sauna. A, because you can stay in it longer, it's not as abrasive on your body. You're actually raising your core temperature compared to just that superficial temp. So I know I've used 200-degree traditional saunas and felt like garbage after I got out just because of how abrasive it was. I was mostly sweating out water compared to activating that fever-like response. So when you can raise that core temp roughly 3.5 degrees, everyone who's ever been super sick at night, sleeping throughout the night, what's your body doing? You're sweating. So you're simulating that inside the sauna by raising that core temperature roughly 3.5 degrees without any of the symptoms or the side effects of that fever. So that's why opening up all the pores allows for the heavy metals, the toxins, the carcinogens to pour out. Hence all the fire stations that we work with, when they're using it as a part of their detox protocol, they'll actually use the sauna after fighting a fire and wipe a towel on their skin after, and the towel is brownish black. And they're wearing gear. That gear is really more preventing the heat. The smoke, toxins, carcinogens can still get absorbed into their system. And it's the same premise with us in our everyday lives. So having the ability to get that fever-like state and actually get a natural recovery compared to just a superficial temp or a superficial sweat is why infrared is so popular at all the fire stations. Professional athletes, Olympic athletes lean towards infrared compared to traditional saunas. And you can see the online influencers out there that will say you need to get X temperature and a Y temperature, and you can probably go on one hand and count how many times they've been in a sauna on their actual social medias, where for me, this is something that we do every day of the week. I live and breathe, pretty much sleep in the sauna sometimes, just kidding, but where I've been dealing with these units hands-on every single day for the past 5 years. So when I see someone out there that's just a social influencer, and like I said, you can really just count on one or two hands how many times they've been in an infrared sauna, that's when I have to be a little questionable of what are they promoting, and is it more just marketing and advertising. So as always, do your due diligence, ask the right questions, make sure the company is a reputable overall company that has a good BBB rating, positive Google reviews, and obviously make sure it's something that you're going to use and enjoy. There's so many people out there that I hear from that ended up just getting a sauna because it was the first one they heard on, they saw online, or they were talking to somebody and they said that they were getting the best deal and it was going to be 50% off or 35% off, and then they realize they get it, they start using it, it stops working after a year, or the company's no longer around, and they realize the more expensive mistake was making the wrong one the first time. And that's when they come to us, figure out which sauna is actually going to be the right one, because for our customers, it's the last sauna you're going to need. It comes with that lifetime warranty. They're rock solid lumber construction. There's no particle board, plywood, press board. The benches are solid. You can feel a difference when you sit in a low quality unit than a high quality. And so many people have only ever sat in one type of sauna or one brand, and they'll tell you it's the best when they're only drawn from one experience. Where I know I've tried multiple different saunas, all different types. I mean, the traditional, steam room, infrared, done hot yoga all across the country, and pretty much seen sweating at all different levels, from basic recovery and therapy needs to high level muscle relaxation, detoxification. So having the ability to pull from that knowledge and explain in plain English what infrared is, that's where you shouldn't always feel like it's just coming from another salesperson's mouth, or it's just regurgitated off a script. So being that we've been in for about 35 minutes and the heart rate is now up into that 150s range, so that's going to be that phase 3 cardiovascular. Everyone always asks, especially my friends, when we eat very similar, and like I said, I don't take any supplements or eat too relatively healthy. If anyone knows me, they know I love going and having chicken wings, and and a pizza at any local establishment, but having the tool and the accessibility to use the tool is what really made the night and day difference from me 6 years ago now being super unhealthy. I didn't look necessarily unhealthy, but I know my body, as far as my sleep schedule, was struggling. My overall just mobility was suffering. I noticed tons of benefits when I could actually start touching my toes. My back loosened up. My golf game got a lot better. And so that's where it's the night and day difference for a lot of people. And it's not magic. It's, again, building it in that recovery routine. And with winter coming, like I said, shorter schedules, busy nights, so many people wait till winter actually hits, and then they're overwhelmed with all the stuff that they have going on. So taking the time while you have some right before this busy back to school season, fall sports, and all the winter blues kick in, stop out to the state fair, check us out, say hi, ask any questions, and ask if we're going to be an event nearby. But don't forget to also ask about the state fair savings. So I also get the best neck and back cracks in here. Obviously that's from the improved blood flow, and I, like I said, always feel as limber and not as stiff as I typically do in just your everyday when I'm not using a sauna. So for me, it's an addicting feeling. Like I said, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we go live, do a 1-hour infrared sauna session. Being that the state fair starts on Thursday, we're going to see what's happening next week. So stay tuned for possibly an exciting episode. We might be back here. We will have to keep you guys informed. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us, and stay tuned with where we're going to be at. And like I said, it's probably going to be an event near you. So we've been in for about 40 minutes now, guys, and this is when we like to get on the struggle bus. The struggle bus is a special place for me because we're in the phase 3 cardiovascular level. We know we're getting that same workout if we were doing a small marathon or a light jog, but I'm not putting the wear and tear on my body. So I played a ton of sports growing up. I'm talking anything with a ball: basketball, football, baseball, I think golf. We're still working on that, but everything else pretty much: track, lacrosse. I played so many different sports where I didn't realize the wear and tear each sport was putting on my body. And I know basketball destroyed my ankles, lacrosse, my back, and then obviously track was just hips and almost full body. So that's where noticing now, like I said, 28 going on 28, I'm not recovering as automatic. It's now something that I have to build into my routine, so I'm not feeling it 2-3 days down the road. And that's probably a big reason why so many people, like I was talking to a great couple today that's working on a bathroom remodel. They are planning to put one in. They already used the sauna. Phenomenal couple that obviously was super excited for getting one, but it was just figuring out which one's going to work best for them. So I know that's something that we see a lot more of. So if you're in your 30s, 40s, like I said, recovery isn't as automatic. Look at what your schedule is and then count how many recovery activities actually are there. And most people struggle to list even 2, let alone most people couldn't even get to 5 if you paid them. But that's why we always use a water bottle with a lid and put plenty of towels down. So those are the main premises. We got a couple people joining that I missed. Welcome, Sweets. Missy, welcome. G. Joseph Sins, welcome. Renee, welcome. We are pretty deep in the sauna session, guys. We are on the struggle bus. If you guys don't know, the struggle bus is one of our favorite places to be because we know we're getting a ton of cardiovascular benefits. We know we're getting long-term health benefits, and it's really kind of seeing how your body can handle the heat. And everyone's body's a little different. Wouldn't recommend starting out with the 165-hour-long session. Work your way up to it. But for me, putting myself in this high heat type really just helps acclimate my body to being in stressful situations, you can start to sweat a lot quicker, so you're going to cool off a lot quicker. You're not going to sweat as long either. So I've noticed tons of benefits with just being more level-headed throughout the day too, especially if you're having tough conversations or if you're getting ready to have a tough conversation. Having that ability to get the mental clarity, actually think about your thoughts, the metacognition, as they say. But that's something that we always thoroughly enjoy. It's just the piece of being in here. Obviously, you guys get to come along with me, so that's super fun. But normally, I can come in here, relax. We'll have music going, audiobooks, podcasts, anything like that. But for the lives, we always like when you guys join, ask any questions, or if you're thinking about a 2 or a 3 person, or if you're curious about full spectrum, or if someone likes it hotter or more traditional style, and you're just curious how one would feel, give us a call. We have tons of different options. And like I said, with the state fairs coming up, and if you're local to the area, make sure you stop out, say hi, ask any questions. We have the buyer's guide, so click the link, and those are just great starting points for anyone who's new to the infrared sauna industry. I know the information can be pretty overwhelming and overloading at times, so we try and keep it simple and give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions and get back to you with the best responses as quick as we can. So questions, and as always, we will be going live every Tuesday, but next week may be a little different, so stay tuned. If you take one thing away from tonight, let it be this: Wisconsin State Fair is your chance to stop guessing. Come sit in the sauna, feel the space, look at the heaters, ask about the materials, ask about the warranty, ask about service, ask about the extra fair savings if you missed the last day of the fair last year. So we'll be inside the expo hall, out at the Master Spa's booth, right across from the Ferris wheel. And if you're watching this and thinking, man, I've been looking for a while, but I just have not made a decision, you're exactly who this live is for. So don't let the research become more stressful than the problem you're trying to solve. Come see us, ask questions, sit in the units, compare the Signature and the Hybrid series, and let us help you find a sauna that you're actually going to use in your own home. As always, keep sweating, stay hydrated, and I will see you guys at the Wisconsin State Fair. Peace.